Hey Pisces, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today with your December 2024 monthly horoscope. These horoscopes are based on whole sign Western astrology. So when I'm talking about Pisces, I'm referring to Pisces rising as the first house and dictating the landscape of the chart. This is also applicable to Pisces sun, Pisces moon, and if you have 3 or more personal planets in the sign of Pisces, this video is for you as well. When I talk about a time in a day, it's based on the Pacific time zone, so please adjust for your location. The month is going to start off with a new moon in Sagittarius. Mars will retrograde back through Leo and into Cancer until February 2025. This is going to be a fairly significant transit because Mars is going to oppose Pluto again, but this time Pluto is in Aquarius. So this is going to be an interesting few months. We will see Neptune go direct in Pisces. Neptune is starting to wrap up its journey through its rulership. It will move into Aries in March, and then it will retrograde back into Pisces for a little bit, and then it will settle into Aries, which is going to be a significant shift in energy. We will also experience Jupiter's second square to Saturn. The first time they squared, Saturn was retrograde and Jupiter was direct. This was back in August of 2024. And now Saturn is direct and Jupiter is retrograde. So this is a pretty significant square. And then Mercury will go direct in Sagittarius. We start the month with Mercury retrograde, left over from November. All right, so what I'm going to do is pull up the chart. We're going to talk a little bit about the aspects and how they're going to affect you, what houses it's going to be in, and then we'll mosey on to 2025. Here we go. Let me share the chart. All right, so it just happens that the wheel starts off with Pisces as the first house, and we see Saturn there making a very strong energy and influence in your first house. This has been going on for quite some time. It started back in, I believe, late 2023, early 2024. Don't quote me on the dates, but the thing about the Saturn transit through your first house is it is very much asking you, Pisces, to endure beyond your wanting to escape into the quiet of your own retreat, of your own peace, meaning this. Pisces is one, if not the most strong sign for connection to the other side. It's where we feel this push-pull between our divinity within and the human that we are experiencing right now. And Saturn is tasking you to create a very strong relationship with the divinity within your soul, your inner child, the voice in that knows that you're within, that knows that you're bigger than you appear to be in this human body. And I think this is evidenced by the growing square between Jupiter in its detriment in Gemini. Gemini is your 4th house of home, of how you were imprinted, of how you were nurtured. Gemini is generally a very busy household, a lot of movement, a lot of daily things going on, can be even focused in on information and communication. But here what we're going to see is whatever beliefs that you have had about your upbringing, about how you were nurtured, are in many ways being tasked right now by Saturn to be revisited and to have wisdom extracted from it. This first day of the month also hosts a new moon. Again, that new moon is in Sagittarius, and I will do a separate video on that, so look for that video. I'm going to click off of this. I do want to point out, though, that while the sun and the moon move very quickly, having experienced a new moon earlier in the day, as squaring Saturn, there is a strong energy of birthing something new that is born from your story, from your history, from your soul's ancestry, that is not comfortable right now, but as you persevere and endure, there's an opportunity for reward. Saturn always offers reward. All right, I'm going to go now to the 6th, where we're going to see Mars start a retrograde. Oops, that was the 16th. Now, I think this is a pretty significant retrograde because we see on the 6th that Mars is very strong in Leo. It has no rulership in there, but it's a fire sign in a fire with a fire planet. And so there's a lot of warmth and creativity and passion. And yet at the same time, there is an opposition, from Mars to Pluto. And right now, Venus, this is going to grow stronger as Venus transits over Pluto. She's going to enter Aquarius the next day. This is significant because there's some kind of push-pull between a psychological imprint, something that happened to you throughout the course of this lifetime. It could have even been in early childhood when we just saw Jupiter's square to Saturn in your first house that imprinted you. And as Mars retrogrades back into Cancer, the 5th house of your self-expression and creativity, the tension is going to grow stronger because Mars is going to feel more diminished as it goes back into its fall. So for you, Pisces, something very powerful is happening about redefining who you are, how you nurture yourself, how you are creatively expressing yourself, how you're expressing joy. Are you taking care of your body, healing your body? Because Cancer rules the body. It rules the womb, the growth of the human. And this square this opposition is, we're going to feel it for the second time, but the first time Pluto was in Capricorn. So now we're going to feel it with Pluto in Aquarius, offering some kind of liberation. And this is going to go on for a while because Pluto is going to pretty much station here for a while. And while this retrograde is till February, when Mars moves into Cancer, it's going to feel a sense of frustration again, a sense of having to rework how it expresses itself in order to move itself forward. And if Pisces rising has had some repressed anger due to the nurturing experience or due to a lack of being able to move forward, feeling like you're doing a bit of a crab crawl, this opposition is going to exasperate it. It's also Venus, while she rules our money, she rules our partnership, she rules how we feel loved, she rules how we feel connected to others. And there's an opportunity to identify where potentially there is a hole or a speed bump here that has sat under the unconscious and dictated your choices. We also see that on the day, this is actually, let me move later. Well, actually, you know what I'll do? Let me move later in the day and get Mars actually in its retrograde. See here, we see Mars is now retrograde. We also see that Mercury in its retrograde is conjunct the Sun, and they're both conjunct the great attractor. And this happened last year. This time we had Mercury retrograding in Sagittarius. And when that happens over the great attractor or even near the galactic center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, it's giving the human an opportunity to express or to feel the mind versus the connection to the divine. It's almost like the mind is encased in this human experience, and yet the Sagittarian experience is very expansive. So as you connect to the universe and you start to declare the things that you want in the present day, I am lucky, I am in good relationships, I am wealthy, I am experiencing flow of resources. This can start to kick in the laws of the universe and start to attract these things to you. Now, we see an opposition between Mercury and Jupiter, which is going to continue as Mercury continues to retrograde back to, I believe, 6 degrees of Sagittarius and then moves direct. We're going to feel this push-pull between this strong wanting to see a vision, the bigger idea of something, Jupiter, wanting to kind of hop, skip, and jump over the details of things. And yet it's the details of things that Mercury represents in its detriment in Sagittarius that connects us to the law of attraction. Let me be more clear. How you feel, the sun, how you express yourself out in the world, the conversation that you are having both on the outside and the inside. So how you speak to other people. I always get great parking spaces. I always experience, ease when I'm driving. My mind is peaceful. The things that you're starting to express, the universe will not only respond to, but it will respond to the emotion that you feel and the belief that you feel attached to it. Jupiter represents our belief system, our ideologies, our philosophies. So while we have this opposition here, push-pull between taking these broad concepts and implementing in the everyday world and doing that through concentrated effort, meditation, we see Mercury is making a square to Saturn. I've got to slow down. I've got to literally sit in this energy and absorb it and identify where my fears are. Am I saying the things I want with a fear belly underneath, or do I actually believe that they are possible? Because that's the defining moment when the universe starts to bring in the things that you want versus the things that you no longer want to experience. So we've got, we're only in the first week of the month, and we've got this strong opposition between Mercury and Jupiter. The sun will move quickly. We've got a growing opposition between Pluto and Mars, which we're revisiting something, but with a slightly different twist, with Pluto offering a liberation, a rebellion, literally like a whole new idea. And then we have Saturn moving direct, making a square to Jupiter. And that square in your first house to your fourth house is really about being disciplined in choosing to be intentional versus just going into an escape mode and wanting to swim away, which is easy to do because, these things are challenging sometimes when we're looking at the things that have unconsciously imprinted us. It's hard to always recognize that we're making choices from that place. We also, and I don't know why I didn't see it sooner, Saturn is making a T-square. So the focal point is Saturn. The way out of the square is through disciplined, meditative, visualization, creative, even music for Pisces would be great to help connect you with that divinity within, so that as you experience these really challenging transits that you have going on, because depending upon what's in your first house, it's being affected by the Neptune's retrograde and Saturn. And not too far in the future, these three planets, or I should say the North Node is a point, it's going to move into your first house. And these two planets are all going to come together. And something is going to transpire. And I think it could really be an elevation to the reward area of Saturn, where you've worked hard at your creativity, at your connection with spirit, the connection with the divinity within yourself, and that can move your story forward in a way that makes you enjoy the earth experience more than the harshness that we've been experiencing. I'm going to go now to the 15th. We're going to have a full moon in Gemini. I'm going to do a separate video on that, but we are also going to see Mercury go direct. And here Mercury is at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. And while it's not in an opposition to Jupiter right now, as it moves direct, we're going to experience that exact same energy. So over these next first half of December, you have a real opportunity through something that feels a bit tense and slightly uncomfortable to experience something different. Where the nodes are about to move into your first house and your seventh house. So the south node is going to move into Virgo and the north node is going to move into Pisces. This is going to be in early 2025, January. So as you're preparing in these last degrees of your second and eighth house access, this money access, this access of using your skills and incorporating it to help others and expand others. I think that you're going to feel really good about yourself. But again, this is not happening through ease. There's a sense of tension. There's a sense of the unknown in when I say the unknown, I mean that you can't bet on or compare yourself to other people. That's the way I want to put it. Just allowing your own individuality, your own voice, your own vision to be birthed, and using Saturn now as this sort of guide. You know, Saturn rewards over time. Saturn appreciates principle, and he builds in the material world in a super strong way. So this is really a way to anchor yourself into a version of yourself that is so authentic that it makes the rest of your life experience more enjoyable. Okay, let's go now. We're going to see, I'm going to go to the 21st. The sun will have moved into Capricorn, and Venus is in a trine to Jupiter. This is wonderful because Venus rules money, Jupiter rules money. This is a harmonious aspect. This to me also feels like as you have incorporated and sort of reviewed the belief systems you've had that were given to you as a child, you have an opportunity with Venus in Aquarius of your 12th house to start to tap into your creative genius even more so. And I think that this is about, well, both planets rule money. I feel like the expansion of your self-worth and your trust in your path and your willingness to endure through where before you may have turned left because the road got too hard. This could start to really fuel a feeling of anchoredness in your individuality. Both houses are very mental. They're very social. Aquarius is social, like in the wide internet way, and Gemini is social in the everyday way, in your neighborhoods, your communities, the people you interact with. So you could find some sort of synergy between those two dynamics where you're expressing your individuality and cross-pollinating both areas. So something big and expansive for the world to be better, and something that also expands your everyday life. Now, again, I want to offer it this way. The expansion is not because it comes to you from the outside world. It comes because it's birthed from you into the outside world. And you're using Saturn's energy to be disciplined and to be enduring and to be committed to yourself and your creativity. Now let's go to the 24th. This is Christmas Eve here in the United States. And we see that Jupiter and Saturn have their exact square. Now, this has been kind of happening over the last couple of years in various houses or in signs, I should say. And so here, what this square is, Saturn in Pisces in your first house, is again this feeling of slowing things down, examining your soul's history, the history that you've had in this lifetime of how you've expressed yourself, and if what you want in the way of a new experience is, I'm sorry, Pisces, I'm not saying this very well. You're being tasked to pick yourself up by Saturn. And Jupiter is tasking you to rewrite your beliefs and rewrite how you were nurtured or how you experienced your home life. And Jupiter's expansive qualities don't come because they're bestowed upon you, but because you have chosen to start to focus in a new direction. And I think while it's not easy for you, it's evidenced by Mercury moving direct. And Mercury in a day or so will be at 14 degrees. So these these planets are making a T-square again to Saturn. So it's identifying between the broader ideologies, the thoughts, my belief system, my connection to the divinity within in Jupiter, and then this everyday thoughts, the monkey mind, even Mercury rules your childhood, it rules your siblings, it rules how you interacted with them and how you feel about how you experience that, and if you were even seen within that. So I really find it so interesting that we have planets that are challenged. Mercury's in detriment in Sagittarius, Jupiter's in detriment in Gemini. They have to look at things from the other person's point of view. And Saturn is in a place that rules that like Saturn rules stoicism, being sort of tough and unemotional. And Pisces is emotional all day long and emotive. And being able to decipher what is yours and what isn't yours is where the tension comes in. And what you believe about yourself and what has been bestowed upon you by your experiences as you've moved forward in this lifetime. So this end of the year is very much bringing some sort of awareness, and Mars's retrograde is part of that awareness because it's creating that tension to Pluto in that deep psychological imprint that holds you back, that makes you think I can't, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not whatever I'm not. So it is a real month for potential illuminations and also potentially feeling very stuck. And if you're feeling stuck, that's where you go back to that Saturn energy in your first house and you do your meditations, you listen to beautiful music, you watch movies that inspire you, you allow yourself to be creative, even if, like as a meditation, as a way of walking yourself out of the growing tensions. And this is something that I think was going to take us into January and February as well. And we're going to have a new moon in Capricorn on the 30th, but I'm going to go to the 31st and round out the month. I'm going to do a separate video on the new moon. We see that the nodes are at 0 degrees. They're retrograding, so we still have about a month to experience them in the axis of balance, the self versus the we. And the 0 degree is on the world axis. So this is a very powerful place for the nodes to be. Again, the nodes are karmic. They reflect, the north node reflects where we want to go. The south node reflects where we've been and what we're used to. And while your natal nodes are not necessarily indicated here, I do think it's important to recognize that the south node is conjunct the supergalactic center and has been for a while, really tasking all of us in our Libra energy. And Libra is your 8th house of transformation. Where are we willing to look at ourselves as source energy and to recognize what we concentrate on is what we create, what we experience. And I think that while the end of the month feels kind of intense, having this nodal structure on the world axis, having the north node at that very, impetus of where we come into the physical and we focus on the self and we discover the body and we discover our passions. And I also think the end of the month is powerful because Mercury, while it's still conjunct the great attractor, is now in an exact trine to Chiron, and both are moving forward. The 19th degree is the Libra degree of balance. So I think that there is a part of us all that can recognize that the human brain is imprinted. We will never have, a completely peaceful life. The human experience is not created that way. It's meant to be a sort of an up and down situation of choices and of, I'm going to stop my share right now, of choices and experiences that when we can extract the wisdom of those challenges, we can feel the power of our intention and our own co-creation. So yeah, it's been a wild time. I really do believe that we are, as a world community, experiencing a whole new shift in our vibrational awareness. And as such, we are becoming more impassioned to discover and create that diversity and to be able to all use our voice and to be able to express ourselves, not with fear of judgment, but with the excitement of acceptance. So This is December 2024. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer. I will be back in January with your monthly, and be sure to hit that notification bell because there'll be lots of content coming out. We've got lots of stuff going on as we head to the month, end of the month and the beginning of the new year. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you soon. Have a great holiday season. Bye-bye.